about him. Like he's all over the tabloids. I don't know what do you want me to do?
He's the hottest thing since a Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial where there may or may not have been a defecation in their bed. I'd still rather talk about Arch Maning. Yeah, that's where
we're at with Arch. So Arch. So we made a video 2 weeks ago where I said now that Bama's out, and it was because they were eyeing another quarterback, Eli Holstien, I believe. Hopefully I said that right. We're gonna just swing on that.
Go with it.
But Eli Holstien, a four-star quarterback, he's the eighth ranked quarterback in the class. They were eyeing him. So that came out and was like, look, maybe they moved on from Arch. Well, now they've signed him. So it's even looking more like, hey, is Bama moving on? Or are they kind of just like, look, we're gonna give up on it? Now, you can't say like they're not gonna get 2 quarterbacks. I know they can, and it's only a verbal commit. He can back out. But look, it could say a little subtle sign like, hey, we're gonna continue to do what we're doing, right? Number one. Number two, he said a visit to Georgia for the June 3rd through June 5th weekend. Arch did. And he even had this to say about Kirby. He said, Athens is probably the best college town I've been to. I love Coach Kirby, and he's a real normal guy, a great coach. Georgia, the takeaway from practice there is that they have athletes all over the field, especially on the defensive line. They had some studs, and it shows. They had 15 players drafted. This is something we keep talking about. He wants to go somewhere that's going to be good, that's going to make him look good.
True, but that's a lot of players drafted off of that defense that, look, I mean, I know that they've been stacking 5 stars on top of 5 stars here for a little while, but, I mean, you've got that many players off of your defense that are drafted and drafted high. That tells you that was an extremely talented defense. So even if you've got some guys who are talented coming in behind them, there's not a lot of experience there because those guys were on the field a lot. I mean, anytime you've got that much transition on one side of the ball, you're kind of holding your breath to see if the next group that's coming in behind him can still translate that same level of success out there.
Yeah, for sure. And look, I think you're right. They did leave, but I think it shows that, look, there's probably depth there, which Bama also has. Sure. He's planning to visit Texas and Bama later on down the road, so they're not out of it yet. And LSU has also somewhat kind of pulled out of the running because they have been targeting Jaden Rashada, who we'll get into a little bit later for the Florida Gators, 5-star quarterback out of Pittsburgh. He's from Cali, but he plays in Pittsburgh, went to IMG. They're starting to heavily eye him and go after him. Now, this leads me to my next hot take, which we've got into a little bit in the precast, and we slowed down a little bit. It could be a dumb take, but it's a hot take, so it is what it is. Is Arch waiting too long? Are these schools kind of moving on to the next hot thing? Because, look, there's a lot of expectations on this kid to be great. And could the coaches see themselves like maybe we're investing too much on this and we're missing out on other players, and he may not be the real deal. There might be some holes there where I'm spending way too much time simply for the name that I don't need to be doing. And so they're going to go out and get the Jaden Rashads of the world, the Elis, and a few more, right? That would cause for them not to, for him to lose out on a potential. Now, he's not going to lose out on a spot. That's crazy talk. Texas isn't going to land somebody that big. Georgia definitely could. Florida's 50-50, but he might lose out on what school he want to go to. Now, if he chooses Bama, obviously, I'm sure they're going to be happy to have them, but it's definitely going to cause a little bit of controversy.
Yes, and here's the thing, right? So there's always going to be a roster spot on any college team for Arch Maning if he chooses that school. It doesn't matter what they've already done with their prior recruiting efforts. And really, for the most part, with the amount of hype coming in with this kid, which you and I talked about it, I don't think there's any way that you can really live up to the amount of hype and the name brand in recognition that the kid already has. I don't know if there's any way you can live up to that hype. But that being said, I think the schools are showing you that nobody really knows what he's going to do. Nobody feels confident enough to the point where they're going to stop recruiting other players at the position and risk not getting him. So Alabama taking a quarterback, you're still going to take Arch if he commits.
Sure.
And then the other quarterback will transfer because we've seen that happen a million times. You could just not like the way the wind blows and that guy's gone. But look, what they're doing right now tells me that no team feels confident. No team has any confidence in inside track on where they believe he's going to go. So they're going to continue to recruit the players that they've likely been recruiting for 3 or 4 years in hopes that they get Arch Maning, and instead of hinging their entire recruiting efforts for a season that they could easily lose to another team and a quick NIL check in the mail.
The portal is a big factor to this too, right? Because it's so easily just to change schools that it doesn't really make that much of an impact that you go and get Eli because he has the opportunity to leave. So it's almost like you have to go get those guys because they can't leave so easily. So
they're pulling Eli out of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so I get why it's easy to do that, but I don't know. I feel like with Bama going out and getting and basically committing and going after that kid and showing, hey, we want you for the same class. It has a little bit of volume there. It has a little bit of
Sure.
Look. It's the 8th ranked quarterback in the class.
Like, he's not awful by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
no.
so it's not like you're going to get 2 of them, and
Right.
you save out on. I mean, you don't save on anything. I mean, they're all spending the same amount of money. Who's spending it? But look, I don't know. To me, college is professional football now, so I'm thinking like a salary cap. Like, well, Eli's going to be cheaper than Arch is, but we'll see. Look, it's going to be a hot summer. He's going to be visiting, which is going to be exciting to see. Hopefully, we can get some pictures of him at these schools and see what's going on. He's going to be visiting the practices. I don't see this guy signing until probably literally the signing day of next year. He's going to go to the school. He's going to go to all the games. He's going to be there, or he could pull one of those like where you just sign super early. I don't know.
Yeah, I foresee this being a situation where every school that's in, the final running for him gets, their chills down their spine every Saturday when he goes to a different school and he's wearing your logo. Oh my gosh, he's wearing a Georgia logo this week. That means he's ours. And then next week he's wearing Bama stuff, and next week it's Texas, and then all the way up until signing day, or at least the first one, right? There's an early signing period now, so I don't know if he'll wait until February, but the early signing period, I think he'll already have made a decision. It's December, I think.
Do you think that the new College Games Days will just be wherever he's at?
Oh, I'd follow the kid around all day. Like, what's up? He's like a rock band in and of himself. He's got that kind of following. It's unbelievable.
That would be hilarious.